everybody. Welcome back, episode 3 for a random chat. So, to start this off, I want to do a quick mention. You can also find these uploaded onto YouTube after I'm not doing these live. So if you ever want to go back and do it, if you're not on Instagram, you can also follow on Akatsuki Art Club. But that being said, there's some other artists that I want to talk about that I've been looking around, seeing on Instagram, and it's kind of been feeling like a lot lately. And this one's a glass artist named Sherbet Glass. It's pretty good stuff, honestly. It's a lot of glass blowing stuff. It does this pencil work. Like, a lot of his stuff is based off, like, pencils. But it's pretty sick, and I actually went to his site, and he has some pretty sick opal pieces, too. And me personally, I love opal. Like, I love different gems and stuff. But when I seen that, like, that's pretty sick. But definitely check that out. Like I said, that's Sherbet Glass. New York City Wow. Street Leaks, Street Photographer Awards, and these are all just like different photography pages, obviously. Street Avengers, Top Sunset Shots, and Magnificent Visuals, which Magnificent Visuals does a little bit of a Photoshop to their work, and it's actually pretty cool. It's more on the artistic side of things. But on that, also, sorry, blanking out for a second. But that being said, though, there's some new lenses coming out, and let me look through my show notes real quick that Sigma's releasing, and they're going to be in the I series lens, and it's going to be a 24mm full frame, and it's going to be a 3.5 aperture, 35mm f2 aperture, and a 65mm f2, and these will be available in mid-January for, and this one is according to various sources, that the prices are going to be at $549 for the 24mm. 35mm was going to run you about $639, and the 65mm is going to run you about $699. So, that being said, I just bought a Sigma 30mm lens recently, and I'm very, 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 very impressed. So I'm actually really excited to see what happens with these, and I don't know, hopefully good things. And yeah. For all those photographers that like doing astrophotography, there's going to be an alignment of Jupiter and Saturn on December 21st, and it's going to be called the Chicago Star. The Chicago Tribune is where I got this from, but it's going to be called the Christmas Star. And that's going to be a pretty cool one to look out. And if any of you guys are also out there doing this meteor shower that's going right now, too, I'd love to see those pics. But, yeah, I'm sorry, I'm still a little nervous in front of cameras sometimes, but getting more and more used to this. But back on the tech side of things, Amazon, it's kind of funny, has a bracelet, and it's called the Halo bracelet. And then like everything else, like these smart watches these days, it can tell your body fat, measures your heart rate in terms of your sleep quality. But the one cool thing that I thought about this is it reads your voice tone, so it tells you if you're being condescending or dismissive to people. And I feel like that's a really cool feature, because I feel like as people, sometimes we don't realize how we're talking to other people. So, yeah, I feel like I also think it's going to be funny when people get butthurt over a robot on their wrist. But, yeah, another tech things, there's Fortnite new season thoughts. I've been liking this a lot. I'm really glad that they got rid of the superpowers. I know last season was a huge thing, and I played fully through because I wanted all the Marvel characters, but those superpowers were killing me, guys. Like, I'm sorry. And you can say, oh, you're not a good player, you're trash, whatever. It is what it is. But I just couldn't, like, it killed it for me. Plus, I'm a running gunner, honestly. Like, I can build, but I just like to shoot, like, you know. Plus, this having a Star Wars theme, too, a little bit with the Mandalorian, it's pretty sick. Alright, next note. The new Star Wars series, actually, is going to be coming out for Disney Plus, and it's going to be Obi-Wan. And I'm actually pretty excited on that one, too, seeing that, well, our originals from the trilogy are coming back, so it's going to be pretty cool to see how that one plays out. And speaking of Star Wars, there's an article out there on BigThink.com. And actually, I'm going to pull this one up a little more so I can go in a little bit more detail about this one. And this one's about a superhighway in our solar system that they found out about, like matter and stuff kind of flowing through. So let's take a look at this real quick. And for all you guys out there, I'd love to answer any questions or anything that anybody has. Even after this, you guys want to message me, just photography stuff. Like I said, currently I've been running around with that Sigma 30mm for a while. I keep looking over there because I'm looking at my camera, and I've just been loving it so much. Like, I also have a Canon adapter for that camera too, for my Sony, and that thing is awesome too. And so I go around with the Nifty 50 a lot too, but this 30mm, just crisp. It's so nice. Been loving it. And if you want to get a lot of bokeh shots, it's pretty good too. Alright. And while I'm looking this up, I also want to give a shout out to check out these other pages, Pixelgrapher and Carrie West Photography. Some pretty cool stuff over there. Let's see. So what they're saying is pretty much this, and I actually didn't look it up from the original source, but this is off Engadget.com. And it's saying that the solar system's superhighway could speed up space travel, but I'm trying to look for details on what it actually is. Oh, so it's a network of routes that would let probes and other spacecrafts travel outwards at a quicker pace. Asteroids near Jupiter, for example, could reach Neptune's distance in less than 10 years, 100 AU, about 3 times Neptune's distance from the Sun. Now, I don't know what AU means for anybody out there who wants to know, but if you guys know, please let me know. And it says about 3 times Neptune's distance from the Sun in about 100 years. Spacecrafts would theoretically be faster. Scientists found routes by computing how millions of solar system orbits fit inside of space manifolds and arc structures that extend from the asteroid belt. The approach could significantly cut the time it takes to visit outer reaches of the solar system. It also leads to more efficient trips by cutting back on the amount of energy involved to propel forward. The findings could be used to study near-Earth objects that might threaten the planet too. You aren't about to visit the farthest reaches of the solar system anytime soon, but this could help humanity explore the cosmic neighborhood without wasting years on each journey. And I guess, yeah, they pretty much summed it up right there at the ending. The timing. Timing is everything. And the fact that we kind of found a little bit faster of a way to get around in space is kind of huge. I've been obsessed with space since I was a kid, so when I read stuff like that, it kind of excites me a little bit because I like stuff like that. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like a lot of people out there should definitely look into that type of stuff because we can one day, I don't know, be in Andromeda or something like that. So it's kind of a cool concept to think about. But speaking of Andromeda, they're actually coming out with the new Mass Effect 3, or not Mass Effect 3, but Mass Effect series. Sorry, Mass Effect 3 is my favorite one. But yeah, so that's another one that's going to be pretty cool to look into. And also, another Dragon Age 4, which would be pretty sick. So me, I personally like Dragon Age more than not Rocket League, but more than Mass Effect. But we can't really see it back there. But I know Mass Effect's huge. Mass Effect has way more action in it. I just feel like I like the older aspect of Dragon Age more and the story better. And the reason why I said Rocket League is because I'm going to bring up Rocket League here in a second. But yeah, so those are two things to really look forward to in the near future. So like I said, Rocket League. New season of Rocket League. It's okay. I don't really. I was expecting a little bit more of a bang for my buck when I got the season pass. Like this car that they got wasn't really that great for it. And what's up, Foster? But yeah, I don't know. Just I felt like there was gonna be a little bit more to the season pass with it, and I was kind of disappointed that there wasn't. The items in it do look kind of alright, but I was mostly disappointed in the vehicle. So I guess that's my aspect on that one. So another game that I actually just started getting into recently, thanks to my sister, is Among Us. And actually, let me grab my show note real quick from over here. Because I didn't think that this game would actually be what it is, and Mike probably went out a little bit as I walked back there, but my thoughts on this game was I thought it's a very good concept because of the fact that it's a mystery game, and I grew up playing games like Clue with my mom and stuff, and it was pretty cool. So the fact that it's a mystery game is fun. It's in space, and as we were talking about earlier, like I'm just kind of obsessed with space. Uh, the chat system. So I really like how it's very communal based. Like everybody kind of gets together and is like, all right, so this person can kind of argue. It's a free range of chat, and it's kind of funny to watch people just get all defensive, and be like, no, I'm not. It's not me. It's not me. So that concept I really like too. The task system. So that's another thing that keeps it fresh, and it's not just the same thing over and over again. So that's also another cool thing, and it's also the second way that you can win. So if nobody can really find down the imposter, then you can just win by getting all your tasks done. But that's also my notes as far as that. And I also want to bring up that there is a new species of salamander found in North Carolina. Let me move over to my notes back here about that. And they call it the Sandhills salamander because it's found in Sandhills, North Carolina. And let's see, let's take a look on that one real quick too, because I have the source right here. I wish I had Bisma here for this because she is a biology major and would really be able to get in depth on this type of stuff. Speaking of, hi Bisma. But what's everybody's favorite animals out there? That's actually something that's pretty interesting. Mine, I don't think I really have one specific one, but I'm really obsessed with frogs. Like I like amphibians a lot, and I like reptiles. But pull up a picture of this thing. Oh, okay. So, yeah, that's actually what I was about to pull up. So, this, oh, trying to get it out of the ring light. That's what it looks like. It kind of has like an orangish color to it. But yeah, so it says. Actually, I didn't know this either. North Carolina possesses more salamander species than any state in the country with 63 salamanders. But they just added another one to make it 64, as they say. And it's saying how they call it the Carolina Sandhill salamander. Trying to see if it's gonna say like what kind of. It's called the two-line salamander, but researchers at the North Carolina Museum of Natural Species applied next-generation sequencing technology to show that the new species differs genetically, in both mitochondrial and nuclear genome, from what other species of two-line salamanders. These results, published in Herpetologica today, backed up more conspicuous evidence that Carolina sandhill salamander also differs in coloration, size, and natural history from other members of the complex. It's a discovery that is 50 years in the making, and the first specimen was collected and identified in October of 1969 and brought to the attention of North Carolina's Museum of Alvin Braswell, then the then assistant curator for lower invertebrates, and now only recently retired at first. But yeah, so they actually thought it was something else originally, and turns out after some testing over 50 years, which science is a interesting thing, but after 50 years, they figured out that it's a different species entirely. Which is kind of crazy. Another thing that would be kind of crazy too is I shoot RAW, and yes, it is definitely worth the space that it takes up on my sim, because when you're going into post-processing with RAW, there's just more that you could do. It just really gets... So there's more... Here, let me pull up my Lightroom. So that I can just get more in depth with colors and stuff when I'm doing RAW. There's less lossage, because when you're using JPEG or anything else, when you're converting it over to your laptop or whatever you're using, what I was told is that you lose some of the files, so there's not as much that you can use or bring back when you're going through post-processing. But when you're RAW, it's a raw photo, so it's not really doing anything, and you can pretty much take out more than what you could compared to a JPEG. So that, in my opinion, is why I feel like it's definitely worth the extra space in my sim. But if you're not editing and you're not doing post-processing and you're just trying to take pictures, like, I would say probably for convenience of space, definitely not. But me personally, I always shoot RAW. So, and speaking of shooting RAW, another thing that I feel like would be really cool is I have an adapter for adapting Canon lens to Sony. And Sony lenses are expensive as hell. So it's kind of nice that I can work with the current glass that I have without having to really break the budget. Like I said, I did just buy that Sigma lens, but it's the fact that I could still use my old collection of lenses that I had from my Canon T6. So that's another cool thing too. So I have a Metabones converter, and that's actually one thing that I figure if anybody's gonna switch companies, I definitely would, instead of just switching all your glass over, get a converter too, and like definitely go with native glass. But you know, you spent your money and you invested time in learning and getting used to these other lenses. So I don't know. It's up in the air for what other people think, but for me, that's personally what I like. And I think that pretty much is about it on this one. Thank you everybody for joining in. Oh, actually, there is one more gaming thing that I want to bring up because I thought this is actually pretty funny. So Microsoft is now allowing kids, and this is actually a really good idea, but they're allowing their kids, or they're allowing parents to block their kids from playing until their homework is done. And I know a lot of parents, especially like with this online stuff right now, I know a lot of parents out there are probably like, hell yes. But I just kind of laughed because I just thought about all these kids just getting pissed. It's because they can't get on their Xbox. But yeah, guys, that's pretty much it for today. And I'll see you guys next week. Alright, bye. I'm failing.